I was sitting at the kitchen table that Sunday morning with my right arm cradled against my chest, wrapped in thick plaster like a loaf of bread left too long in the oven. You wouldn't think an ordinary woman like me, nearly 53 and more patient than most, would have reason to sit like that. And you certainly wouldn't expect my youngest daughter, bless her heart, to come dancing in like spring wind announcing. My husband taught her a lesson. Just like that. As if teaching lessons with hands or fists was something to brag about. But let me start this tale properly, because stories, real stories, rarely begin with the dramatic moment. They sprout long before the breaking. The day my daughter made that announcement, I was doing what any stoic mother born of stubborn soil does, pretending everything was normal. The kettle was hissing away. The scent of boiled cassava lingered because I was stubbornly determined to cook even though the doctor insisted I rest. But an idle hand brings the devil a chair, and I wasn't about to give him a place in my home. My arm throbbed each time I moved, but I held my chin high. I had lived through childbirth, through heartbreak, through losing a mother too early and a father too late. A broken arm was a whisper compared to the storms I'd weathered. Then in came my daughter, Selena, 27, newly married, and walking with the triumph of someone who thinks she's finally cracked the code of adulthood. "Morning, Mama," she sang as she leaned over to kiss my cheek. "You're up early." "You know these old bones," I said. "They wake before the sun, whether invited or not." She laughed. "And still you're cooking. You're supposed to rest that arm." "I can stir porridge with the left hand," I said. "Besides, food tastes better when someone who loves you makes it." She sat down across from me and folded her arms on the table. "Mama, did Aunt Grace call you?" I looked at her. "About what?" "Good," she said with a smile too sweet to be real. "I wanted to tell you myself." That's when she said it. My husband taught her a lesson. My mouth actually fell open. Because if you know anything about Aunty Mae, and I only borrowed her voice but not her patience, you know that I do not believe in fists where words should do. And I certainly didn't raise my daughter to celebrate any kind of violence. "What lesson?" I asked quietly. "Oh, Mama, don't look like that," she said. "Please. You'll understand when I explain." But my heart had already begun pacing, stepping fast like a worried chicken. You see, the trouble began long before my arm met the cold ground that night. It began with my sister, Grace. Sweet, sharp-tongued Grace, who had a habit of stirring pots that weren't hers to stir. Grace had visited me the night before, just after sunset, just when the light in the sky had that gentle mango hue. She came asking for money again. And I love my sister, but love doesn't mean you allow someone to tip your cup until you have nothing left for yourself. "I wouldn't ask if I wasn't desperate," she said, hands fluttering like anxious birds. "Grace, I helped last month," I reminded gently. "And the month before." "I know," she said. "But this time it's serious." She always said that. When I didn't open the cupboard where I kept my savings tin, her voice rose. "So now you're selfish," she snapped. "After everything our family did for you?" "If family does for each other," I said softly, "then it goes both ways." That was enough to ignite the fire. She hissed insults, old buried ones, sharp as splinters, and in all the fuss, she pushed the kitchen stool I was standing beside. I slipped. My arm, bless it, took the fall. Her eyes went wide, but guilt never lasts long on a heart trained to take advantage of affection. She left without helping me to the clinic. I didn't call Selena. I didn't call anyone. I just tied my shawl, gritted my teeth, and found a moto to take me to the hospital. Because sometimes hurting in silence feels easier than explaining the hurt. I thought I hid this incident well. But you know how secrets are, they rarely stay where you bury them. Selena took a deep breath at the table, as though gathering courage to deliver a confession and a toast all at once. "Mama, Jason went to talk to Auntie Grace yesterday." My eyebrows went up. "He did what?" "He said he couldn't let her treat you like that." "She had no right." "Selena," I said slowly, telling her off is one thing. But what is this lesson you mentioned? She grinned the way young people do when they mistake aggression for strength. He confronted her, she said. He told her she'd better stop bothering you, or else. My heart sank. Or else what? She bit her lip. Well, he didn't mean to, but she fell. I put my good hand to my forehead. Dear God. She's fine, Selena said quickly. Just bruised. Jason said she kept shouting, and he only held her arm to calm her. She pulled away, tripped on her own slippers. You know how she keeps them scattered. I leaned back and exhaled sharply. Child, don't you ever celebrate violence in my house. But Mama. No, my voice was firm, even with the ache tightening my shoulder. Your husband is not the police. He is not the judge. And whether Grace is right or wrong, we do not put our hands on family. She looked wounded, for a moment like a little girl told she wasn't old enough to stir the pot. But he did it for you, she whispered. To protect you. I softened then, because motherhood is a cycle of firmness and warmth. A man who protects you does so with sense, not fists. Real strength is control. She looked down at her hands, suddenly uncertain. Later that afternoon, the sun cast long lines across the living room floor when I heard a knock at the door, 3 sharp taps. I already knew who it was. Grace stood there with one hand on her hip and the other bruised purple around her forearm. Her expression was a storm cloud ready to burst. You sent your bulldog husband to attack me, she snapped at Selena before even stepping inside. Selena stiffened. Nobody attacked you. You provoked things. Oh, look at this child, Grace sneered. Married for 5 minutes and already thinks she's queen of the village. I stepped between them. Enough. Grace's eyes flicked to my broken arm and guilt, or maybe shame, flickered across her face, but only for a second. I didn't come for drama, she said. I came to talk to you, May. Alone. I nodded for Selena to step outside. Grace waited until she heard the door click. I didn't mean to hurt you yesterday. I know, I said. But you did. She paced the room. And then that man-child shows up at my house this morning, telling me to stop asking you for money. As if it's his place. I rubbed my forehead. I didn't ask him to go. I know that, she said grudgingly. He said he was doing it for you. I sighed. He meant well, but he was wrong. The way he talked, she muttered, like he'd break my door down if I came to you again. My whole body went cold. Did he say that? Not exactly, she said. But close enough. I closed my eyes. I'll talk to him. Grace softened just slightly. May. I don't want this kind of divide between us. You're my sister. And sisters don't push each other, I reminded quietly. She swallowed and looked away. Silence stretched between us, old wounds breathing beneath it. 5. The lesson learned. That evening, after Grace left with half-hearted peace in her stride, I called Selena and Jason to the living room. My house may be small, but my lessons carry weight. Jason sat stiffly on the couch, looking like a schoolboy.